Check, check. All right.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thank you if you're watching us live. Thank you if you're watching the webcast. This is our inaugural show for 2025. Welcome to Tech Tuesdays, a joint effort with the South Florida Tech Hub and the Owwll App. I am Jeffry Ullman with South Florida Tech Hub, Director of Membership. If you're not currently a member, reach out to me and we'll talk about membership. I am on the Owwll App. I go live periodically during the day, but my office hours are Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern. If you already have the Owwll App, thank you very much. If you haven't downloaded the Owwll App, you can download it right now. And if you use the referral code of thank you, you'll get $10 as a thank you to use for the Owwll App. So thanks again for joining. This is our first Tech Hub Owwll Tech Tuesdays podcast for 2025. Bear, thank you. Applause is allowed. We know you're applauding out there. Since it is our first event of 2025, I've got a couple of announcements. We have announced a lot of our events for the year, so bear with me. It's a little more than I would normally do. So bear with me. And then I have a something we have to do that's required by the state of Florida. So breaking news, the largest event that Tech Hub does every year is formerly called Tech Palooza. We have announced a new name and the date for Tech Hub Pulse. That's the new name going forward, Tech Hub Pulse. And the date is going to be Thursday, December 4th. And I'm pleased to say we've got our first sponsor already, Click2.ai.
Nice.
And for those of you that have watched Tech Tuesdays, Robert Deck, CEO, was one of our first experts of the day. So he will definitely be exhibiting at Tech Hub Pulse. Hopefully we can get Denis and Jason to exhibit, but we'll talk more about that. We've got 11 months to talk about that. So breaking news, Tech Hub Pulse, Thursday, December 4th. A little closer in date-wise, we have announced all our events for the first quarter in 2025. The first event, and what's interesting, is we've covered all the major sports. We have a soccer event, a golf event, and a tennis event coming up. The only major sport we don't have is pickleball, but we're working on that.
I know, that's the dark side.
Yes.
Don't join it.
We'll talk about that. Not a pickleball fan?
I'm about to go play my first pickleball.
Okay.
So I'm after 3 years, I'm giving up.
Okay. Well, we'll talk about
giving in.
We'll talk about that. It is popular. So the first event, it's actually a family event, a family networking event. It's going to be soccer based. So you can bring your kids. It's for adult networking and for kids to network and have fun. It's going to be a soccer-based event. We're calling it the Kickoff for 2025. Get the pun? Although I guess kickoff is more of a football term, but soccer is football, except in the U.S. But anyway, we'll talk about cultural differences later in the show as well. So that is going to be Thursday, January 23rd. It's going to be at the Beyond Bankcard Field in Dania. So bring the kids, come network, and have some fun. The next event is going to be a golf event. It's going to be the 13th annual Tech Hub Golf Event and STEM fundraiser. It's going to be at the same place it was last year. We had a big crowd last year. It's going to be at Plantation Preserve, great golf course. For all you golfers out there, here's your chance to come and mingle. We do have a presenting sponsor, Crown Castle is the presenting sponsor. So thank you for that. Say that 3 times fast. Crown Castle. See, I couldn't even say it then. Crown Castle. And the tennis event is going to be Thursday, March 20th. We have a lot of events on Thursday, I just noticed. It's a joint event with South Florida Tech Hub and the Miami Open, which I understand is a big tennis event. I'm not a big tennis fan, but I understand that's a big event in South Florida. Tech Hub is partnering with the Miami Open. So all you tennis fans come. It's going to be Thursday, March 20th. It's going to be at the Hard Rock Stadium in Miami Gardens. So we have a lot of events, Tech Hub Pulse in 3 events, tennis, soccer, and golf. But one of the things we have to do, since this is the first podcast in 2025, the state of Florida requires me to indicate that this is a test of this is also a test of the emergency broadcast system. In the event of an actual emergency, you would have been directed to official government sources.
Was that a joke?
That was the joke.
Okay,
I love that. Irritating, but it gets your attention. So we fulfilled all the requirements for the state of Florida. That is enough for me for now. I'm going to turn it over to Denis, let him introduce himself, and then let him introduce our expert of the day, Lena Levine. I'm never going to get that right. So Denis, it's yours.
Thanks, Jeffrey. That's quite an eventful new year that we're going to have, with all the events. I'm super excited for the Tech Pulse. That's next version of the Tech Palooza. Last year was really, that's really when I joined the Tech Hub and I met everybody and got involved. Good morning, everybody. This is Denis Sinelnikov from Media Components. I'm a founder and CEO of full service digital agency. And I'm really excited with our guest this morning, Lena Levine. She is the founder and I guess the president of Forcoda. I don't know your official title, but I'm actually really excited to have you on the show so we can get a little more technical into some discussions because you come from a background which is very kind of technical.
Yeah.
So when it comes to SaaS, entrepreneurship, software development, mobile development, I want you to kind of introduce yourself to the audience and tell us a little bit about your background, how you came about to start this company, what brought you to Florida, and you can also get into a little bit how you got involved with the Tech Hub and what has been your success as far as networking within South Florida tech community.
Great. Awesome. Thank you for having me here on the
You're welcome.
Tech Tuesdays. Hello, everybody. My name is Lena Levine. I'm the founder and CEO of Forcoda. We are a software development agency with offices in Miami and Buffalo, New York. I started the company 10 years ago. And as Denis mentioned, I coming from the technical background. I graduated with a master's in computer science, got into the technology space, was working for a few companies, including Yahoo, early in my career, but realized the corporate world is not for me and shifted focus towards entrepreneurship, which I found more rewarding. And got into consulting. And 10 years later, I have a full scale agency with a team of designers, developers, and we work with both tech startups and also enterprise companies, helping them to design, develop SaaS products, web mobile applications, websites, and the focus on how we're different from other companies, because the way I see it, anyone can build an app these days, right? But can you do it the right way? Can you do it in a way that resonates with your customers and aligns with their needs and solves the actual problem that customers have, to make sure that you can go and get paying customers for the product? So that's what we focus on. So when we build those products for companies, the apps, we help to combine our expertise with design technology and leverage data from customer and market research to build the right products for the right customers.
That's amazing. And do you work with specific vertical, like industries, or do you kind of work with anybody who has the right budget?
So the top industries that we work with, fintech and banking, construction, prop tech, healthcare, wellness, let's see, SaaS in general, I would say, and educational and higher ed technology. Those are the top clients that we work with.
That's awesome. And as far as you mentioned, you have an office in Buffalo and South Florida, and you probably
Buffalo. It gets too cold. Don't go to Buffalo.
Hey, I'm from Russia, so Buffalo is warmer than Russia, so it was actually.
Well, there's a reason why you probably moved to Florida to be in the beautiful sunny January here versus shoving out the snow in Buffalo.
It definitely helps.
But what I was saying, do you also have like a remote team offshore that my follow-up question would be, how do you kind of keep it all together as far as the culture and have everybody motivated when it's a fully remote kind of company?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we a hybrid team. So we have a team here in South Florida, in Buffalo, and also in Europe. So we semi-distributed company, and the way we started with this mobile even before the pandemic. So when pandemic happened, was business as usual, and so over the years I really honed in how to find the right people for the company, and especially I think in this day and age, and like I was looking at the hiring trends for 2025. I see a lot of companies focusing not only on the skill sets that the people hiring for, but also like the values, and not just looking at the like the credentials, like what school you went to, but actually what is that practical expertise that people bring to the table, right? So when we looking for the new team member, we always check both through the what do they know, what can they do, but also the value, like the hiring against the company values. So make sure that the right fit, and the company values on that we prioritize and look for is clear communication, paying attention to the details, having integrity, say what you do what you say, and going above and beyond for the customers, and like having that wow factor, because that's something that we bring to our customers when we work to them, and also having the team members that share those values, make sure that we all rowing in the same direction.
That's a great answer.
Just to follow on, so you mentioned some of the verticals that you focus on. And by the way, I don't think we had a chance to talk about this, but South Florida Tech Hub does have a focus in health tech as well.
Mm-hmm.
We have a health tech peer group, so I wasn't aware that was an area. And we'll get back to that. But Denis also has a side company not a side company, additional company that focuses in that area. But we'll come back to that. But other than those verticals, is there particular size companies, early stage, late stage startups, mid-market, enterprise? Do you have a size focus as well?
It's a mix. So I would say right now we leaning towards or like the break kind of like percentage is leaning mostly towards like the growth stage startups, but we also work with enterprise clients. We work with banks, the like national, like Fortune 500 companies. So it's we apply the same best practices regardless of the company size. So yeah, it's sharing the experience between different verticals and types of companies.
One of the reasons I ask, I had thought that the Owwll community tends to be not completely, obviously, but there are a lot of solo entrepreneurs, a lot of smaller companies, a lot of startups. So for those of you out there in the Owwll world, or just watching in general, if you're in the process of developing a new app, I think there might be a good fit to reach out and talk to Lena. Go ahead.
Yeah. And thank you for mentioning this. I do coach and mentor a lot of startup founders, especially with a focus on non-technical founders, which is not a barrier for building a successful tech company at this day and age. So I'm currently the entrepreneur in residence with Launch New York, which is the startup focused organization in Buffalo. And I used to mentor with the Founder Institute and a few other accelerated programs. So definitely helped a lot of founders to overcome those underwater stones, and make sure that they don't make the expensive mistakes that founders tend to make.
I should correct myself. Buffalo, New York is a lovely place. For those of you that might be from the area or the cold Northeast, it's wonderful. I appreciate you being there, but it's not for me. So nothing wrong with Buffalo.
It is. Buffalo has amazing people.
There you go.
So yes.
I don't want any angry emails from the Chamber of
Plus-
Commerce
plus
for the
it's
city
not-
of
It's not
Buffalo.
far from Niagara Falls, so you can
Yeah.
There you
always,
go. I didn't know that.
check out the one of the wonders of the world.
I did not know that.
Yeah. Yeah, I had some friends in Buffalo. They were always hyping up the Niagara Falls. They can just drive there from the United States side and check out the falls. But
It's funny you mention that. I've never been to Niagara Falls. I've always wanted to go. So here's my reason to go to Buffalo.
gotta get out of Florida, man. Come on.
I have to buy a jacket.
Speaking
But
of Florida, Eliana, what you kind of have a similar trajectory time wise. I'm also almost 3 years in Florida, but what brought you down south? What was the decision for you to move to Florida from Buffalo?
Yeah, so when after the pandemic, I was looking, what's the next move I want to make with my company, and I was considering East Coast location because the West Coast is a little bit too far, and my family is back in Russia, so I still have have to go to travel. So I had to stay on the East Coast, and my choice was between New York, but I was thinking, it's the same type of weather as Western New York, so paying premium for that, I wasn't ready to do that. So Miami just randomly landed on my radar. I came down here to, get the feel, see what's happening in the tech community, and I was really impressed with the warm welcome that I received from people in the tech.
no pun intended, right?
So, and it just completely won me over. I came back a few times to make sure that it's a right move, and yeah, 3 years ago I moved here and opened the second office, and I mean, now I'm still traveling back and forth, yeah, I would say being a part of South Florida tech community really helped to open a lot of doors and horizons to international level businesses, world-class entrepreneurs, successful people, investors that you might not get access to the different markets, right? So plus being the gateway to Latin America, right? There is so many advantages, and just the level of knowledge that you can access by meeting people from around the world, which you would not be able to get in other parts of country.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Miami, South Florida is like a melting pot. You get Latin America, you get a lot of immigrants from Europe, from Eastern Europe. So it's a big melting pot. It's like Silicon Valley 2.0. Have you noticed that a lot of the tech hubs are gravitating to South Florida, tech startups? And when you're working with tech startups, what's your kind of selection process when you look at a startup, and somebody might have an idea for a startup and they say, well, I have this idea, what's my next step? Do you kind of have like a checklist where you walk them through in your advisory selection process? What's has been like from beginning to the end your qualification if you want to work with specific founder?
I usually look at what type of questions they ask me when they come to me directly, or to the talk to our team, and if the person haven't if they haven't done the homework, right? They haven't done enough research. They might not understand who the customers are, what problem they're solving, or they just really eager into go from idea to building, straight building the product, right? And they might not understand. They might not see that they're moving in the wrong direction, and they're not really open to the feedback, right? And I might see that, listen, you going to run into this problem because I've been, in this space over a decade, right? I know what to, would happen. And if I don't see that people are receptive, if they, not really in that learning mindset yet, so I usually don't push them. And I would say in the early stage of the founders, ego is the number one barrier. And then as founders progress further in their journey, I can see they become more and more humbled by experience. So they can either you either win or you learn. So they can either hire us to help them to avoid making those mistakes and learn by doing the right thing, or they can go and do it and try to figure out on their own, and waste money and time and still get to that point 1, 2, 3 years later.
So what I'm hearing from your answer is like the founder should be open-minded for criticism. They might think they're the smartest, they're the next Zuckerberg or Elon Musk, but when it comes down, you have over
Who?
10 years of experience,
Who are they?
and you can point them in the right directions because you saw or you may have experienced the same problem before with other partners or clients. And then if a founder or a startup is looking for investment opportunities or investors, do you have like a Rolodex where you can point them in the right direction and help them secure the funds for their brilliant idea?
Yeah, we have a network of investors, accelerator programs that we can point them to if they, reach that point that they have a solid foundation in place. So, and I'm usually also, as a network, I always try to connect people. And my personal philosophy is, give first, win-win relationship. So whenever I see the opportunity to add value to someone, I always try to do that.
So on that note, and Denis alluded to this, and you and I talked about this earlier, being a female founder, which is not always easy, you've had certain, obstacles, I guess, thrust upon you. So talk a little about being a female founder and maybe some of the issues that you've encountered. And also, I'm assuming you are willing to maybe mentor and talk to other female founders, correct as well?
Yeah. So I mean, definitely being woman in tech space can be lonely. The last year, the percent of women-owned businesses or the women-owned startups was only 13.3%, which is actually
Wow.
Yeah, it went down from the year before that was like 15.5%. So, and it was last year there was a general decline across most of the industries in the female founded startups except medical devices. So like the medical space right now is one of the industries that's growing because like with the focus on like women health focused companies. So that's one of the areas that's right now is growing with a women based
And that's
presence. Yeah.
Not to interrupt, that's one of the other reasons why South Florida Tech Hub does have a focus in health tech, med tech.
Yeah.
It is generally it's growing, but specifically to South Florida is growing as well.
Yeah. So, and one of the reasons why with the VC funding, women get only between like 2 to 4% of all VC funding. So, which is, it's not surprising because if you look at the data, I think like 90% of VCs are men. So when you presented an idea that you might not, understand or can relate to, it's hard to say, listen, distinguish what's a good and what's a bad idea. So that's also one of the reasons why we see less women in the, the VC funded or receive the VC funding. So on my side with the agency and just like being a woman in tech, I 2013 I brought a chapter of nonprofit called Girl Develop It to Buffalo, so which I ran for 6 years, and we've been teaching coding classes, organized tech events, like a women-focused tech events. We ran Buffalo's first all-women hackathon. So that was really, it was extremely rewarding journey. We built a community. I think we reached like 900 members on our meetup page. So it was amazing, really put women in tech on the radar in Buffalo. So, and that was my, I guess like where I got that exposure to more women in tech, and finally was able to find people like myself. So it can be challenging, but it's all about you have to put yourself out there, go network, and it's go talk to everybody, and you never know who will open the right door for you. Men, women, it's all we're all on the same team, and you just have to just make it happen.
Yeah. So along those lines, first of all, thank you for being a guest, or excuse me, expert of the day. I knew you'd be great. But let's say there's a female founder or a startup founder that is interested in some of your services. What's some of the preferred ways for people to follow up with you? LinkedIn, your website, are you going to have office hours or on Owwll or what? What's a good way for people that I'm sure they're going to want to follow up and connect with you? Good ways to do it.
Yeah, I mean, everything that you mentioned is perfect. So you can find me on LinkedIn, Lena Levine. You can reach me out through our agency website, Forcoda.com.
You might want to just spell that. for sure.
Forcoda.com. So, and yes, Owwll App. So I'm the newly minted expert there. So you can definitely reach me there through my office hours and hop on a call. I'm happy to answer the questions that you might have about building tech companies, mobile apps, MVPs, minimal viable products, how to find the customers, how to, figure out, building, launching, and scaling your tech company.
Have you thought specifically just to let people know what your office hours might be? And if you haven't, that's okay. 'Cause it'll
Sure. Yeah, I would say Tuesday, Thursday between maybe like 4 and 6 East
Okay.
Coast time. So those are usually good.
Those are good
Great.
times.
I mean, just having you available on the Owl as a resource, that's really kind of valuable.
Yeah, thank you.
Not many people realize they can log in, download the Owl app, and have access.
Good morning.
Hey, we have a caller from Kent. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Hey, good morning. Thanks for enjoyed your show this morning, Tech Tuesday, and nice listening to Lena. Thanks for letting me call in.
Thanks for calling. Do you have any questions for Lena?
Well, introduce yourself first.
Exactly. I am on Owwll App, and my name is Kent Swampy Glade. My focus is the environment. I'm a motivational speaker on passion and planet. And this morning, I'm going to ask some questions regarding AI. Recently, I've been on Facebook, and we have an AI for Business group. Okay, and just exploring all the different chatbots, Chat GTP aspects that can do so many different things for people who are seeking marketing and branding. That's one of my focuses. But yeah, my big thing is the environment and motivational speaking and social media, obviously. So yeah.
Were you able to watch some of the show? Do you have a question for Lena specific to what she had talked about?
Yes, I want to ask for Lena. I'm looking to try to get a virtual assistant. Okay. So I know that would combine several different tasks. Okay. And perhaps those could be used by different separate apps. What would she suggest for someone seeking a VA, obviously who does several different things for you? But is there anything in AI in that arena specifically that can do a majority of those tasks for you, Lena?
Yeah, thank you for this question. Just a quick follow-up question. What the VA that you're looking to bring on your team, what tasks are you looking to delegate? Just like the marketing you said, or social media? What are you?
Yeah, great question. I've got a extensive social media platform. My main thing is I'd like to maybe tie in together a different web pages that are short, quick, effective, and then have the capacity for that to tie into my other different aspects. I do have a landing page on Linktree that has a bunch of different aspects as far as what I do globally. But the main thing is just do the basics, start off, then maybe get involved with an email campaign, right? And move there to a funnel aspect. Okay.
Got it. Got it. Thank you for clarifying. So, I mean, there are definitely a lot of AI tools out there. So it sounds like you're looking to essentially bring a person on your team and provide them with those tools to really, empower them to be more effective with, in their role, and also to support you more effectively. So for social media side, right, if you're looking, for example, for help like writing, social media posts, right? I mean, obviously the obvious choice, right? A lot of people use ChatGPT. There are more specialized tools there, like a copy.ai, for example. I used it in the past for like writing, the content, and you can kind of give it the voice. You're like the personal brand,
Right.
like a kind of like a direction, right? So it matches your like the your voice to tonality. You can also, like, for example, Claude AI by it can be also a great fit, right? You can, for example, upload a lot of the information in Claude, and it can be trained buy all your data, right? And you can use it also to generate code for the web pages, to like write the content for social media, for your website, and again, it will be tailored to your business. So, and one thing that if we're talking about the trends in AI and just like the customer support VAs, one of the trends that we're going to see this year that's going to be picking up is the AI agents. So this is the kind of like the next step now after GPTs.
Okay.
Yeah, where GPT is something that you have to tell them what to do, and AI agents is like a more autonomous programs, or like the agents that can not only complete the task, like for example you were talking about like automation, right? What happens when customer comes to your landing page, submit the contact form, right? Maybe you want to send them tailored email that have a specific message that's unique to them based on their customer profile, right? So, and those agents not only will be able to do those automations, right, but also have the predictive component where they can kind of like think a few steps ahead and have that whatever specific tests you want them to complete, they would be able to do it. So, and we'll see more of those AI agents.
Is that a let me have a Swampy, I'm going to jump in. Is that particular service of potentially writing a virtual assistant for a company, is that something Forcoda offers?
Yeah. So
Okay.
we do custom AI development. So AI agents, integration, or like the process automation. So the companies that look into maybe thinking about how to leverage AI to improve the efficiency, streamline the processes. Like one project we're working on right now is the manufacturing space, which is the integration of financial kind of like the model dashboard and leveraging AI to improve the cash flow forecasting and help to shorten that cash flow cycle, which is in the manufacturing space can be extremely painful between purchasing the raw materials, manufacturing, selling, the collecting payments from the customers. So by leveraging AI to help the manufacturing companies to shorten that cash flow cycle and be able to identify the opportunities where they can, collect, let's say, payments faster, like automated, and again, improve the return on investment for the business.
Does that answer your question?
That does. And I've got a few more minutes. Thanks very much. The one other thing is, have you ever heard of Miro? MIR.
The online collaboration tool.
It's like a plan view, a decision-making tool.
It's like online, like whiteboard where is that what you're
Yes.
referring? Yeah.
Exactly.
MIRA, correct?
Yeah.
MIRO.
I call
MIRO.
I call it Miro. So
Miro.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. MIRO. Okay. Sorry.
Yeah.
The reason I'm asking you that, I'm thinking about doing a virtual 24/7 Earth Day event using Miro.
Okay.
And it's set up pretty neatly. You can have like a table. You can have folks register. You can get a PDF. You have different rooms to go to.
Mhm.
Okay. Are you familiar with that as far as using that type of software?
I haven't used it for events. We use it extensively for online team collaboration and like a brainstorming session with clients.
Mhm.
But that's a very interesting use case. I haven't used
Yeah,
it.
interesting, Swampy. I spent time at Red Hat before this role, and exactly what Lena mentioned for online brainstorming, we use Miro.
Right.
It's a pretty interesting tool for that. It's really good for that.
Mhm.
And we used it at Red Hat, so it's not only an individual kind of tool for SMB, but enterprises use it as well. We've got a couple minutes, so quick backstory. One of the strengths of Owwll App is for networking. I'm going to tell everybody how we met, Swampy, and I love that name. I went live yesterday. In addition to having office hours, I periodically go live, and Swampy called me and we had an interesting conversation. Never met him before. I said, Swampy, I want to call you tomorrow because I think you'd be an interesting guest. So you can use the Owwll app just for pure networking. But I want to give you a chance. You mentioned your link tree, Swampy. Why don't you go ahead and spell that out so if people want to follow up with you, they can.
Sure. If you don't mind, it's a little bit convoluted.
Okay.
If it's possible, if you just go to Linktree and put in the word GOOD SWAMPY. Okay. It's much easier because the URL is convoluted.
So it's Go Swampy, Go
Go
Swampy.
Swampy on Linktree. Right.
Okay.
Go there.
All right, and we'll explain people. Swampy's not your real name, but you got
No, it actually is.
okay. You got 55 seconds. What does Swampy mean?
Swampy is an acronym, a global focus character for clean water, wetlands, and Earth Day. It's an acronym: soils, waters, animals, mankind, plants, and our youth. And I'm all about, Earth Day, reaching out to kids educationally. I'm a film producer, author, and I'm a collaborator. So if you're interested, check out my website. Let's connect. Get on Al, and let's talk as well. Jason's got a great thing going on here. So thanks for letting me chime in. Appreciate it, Jeffrey.
Swampy, you rock. And he asked me to call him Swampy, so that's what I'm going to call him.
Thanks for calling in, Swampy.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Hey, by the way, it's cold up here. Stay warm.
It's cold here today. No
Is it
snow,
really?
but it's cold.
I take care, guys. Thanks.
All right,
Yeah.
stay warm, Swampy.
All right, brother. Bye-bye.
I couldn't resist anybody named Swampy. I had to have him on the show. He's a riot. We actually had 2 10-minute calls yesterday because he was so funny and interesting. So
Character for sure.
changing subjects a little, but it's relevant to what we were just talking about. I had initially met you through Forcoda, but we were talking yesterday, and you mentioned a new. So Forcoda is not really a startup, quote unquote, per se, but you had mentioned that you'd started a new AI-based startup.
Yeah.
So you're kind of, covering both areas. Why don't you talk about your AI-based startup, what the name is, and what the URL is?
Yeah, so the new tech company that I'm building that I started last year is called startupmentor.ai, and it's the AI platform. It's the set of AI power tools for both entrepreneurs, startups, innovation teams that whenever you have an idea for the new product that you're launching, we're helping you to guide through that process of understanding who the customers are, what they need, how do you align your, are you solving the right problem for them, right? How do you reach them? What's the, messaging that you need to use on social media when you, or like on the landing page to, convert convert traffic or into the people that join the wait list or people that purchase your product, right? So the Startup Mentor AI is designed to guide founders, startups through that process and give them the tools to implement all those different steps. So, and that's based on we've been offering it as a service in our agency at Forcoda. So now I'm taking the expertise that we built over the years, the market tested process, our customer success stories, which we had startups that raised 1.5 million, 2.9 million in seed funding. We had clients that helped improve their business model, that went through the process and they changed who they sell into. We had clients that got pre-sales of their product without even having application. Essentially, they created prototype for them. We tested out, validated it, and they took that clickable prototype on Zoom webinar and they sold thousands of lifetime licenses. So now we're taking all that expertise and we're converting it into the platform so that way other founders and startups can benefit from that as well.
But is it specifically a for-profit company, or are you doing some nonprofit as well, or both, or what's the intent there?
Well, it is for profit.
It is for profit.
So
Okay.
as while we're still building it, it's kind of nonprofit. I'm putting a lot of money in it, but yes, the end goal is to have a profitable
be a
business,
for-profit.
Yeah.
Well, as a startup, because we do have founders that are watching, are you currently not necessarily for Forcoda, but for it's startupmentor.ai?
Yes.
Are you looking for potential investment there?
Yes.
So all you VCs out there. Okay.
And if a startup wants to get involved, do they buy like a license, a membership? How do they get involved?
Yeah. It's a subscription based.
Subscription.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Got it.
Is that URL? That URL is live, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hello.
Kate.
Hi.
Hello. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Okay. Thanks for taking the call. You're
Yeah,
live.
do you get a delay when you call on these? every single one I've had so far, when I answer and say hello, there's like this lag before it connects.
No, that's pretty unusual. It can happen occasionally, but that's not the normal way the app works. But we are live. We are on the internet, so there's always some back end things
Yep.
happen. You know, the mice have to run faster sometimes, and it's very cold. It's very cold here, so you never know. Actually, I was trying to reach a government agency in Delaware to pay a ticket, and the website's down.
Oh,
And
no.
I'm thinking it's because of the
Oh.
cold or something, or else something else is going on. But
Where are you?
but anyway, that was a random. We're live and usually sunny and warm. Boca Raton, Florida is a little chilly today. Thanks for taking the call, Kate. Why don't you go?
Well, I'm in Wisconsin, so I don't want to hear chilly
Oh,
from someone in Florida.
okay.
You're
So-
not. Yeah, it is so cold where I'm at right at
Yeah.
the moment.
So, Kate, apologies. You're live on a podcast. So everything you say will be recorded for posterity.
Okay.
And we'll send you a link for the replay as well. I'll send you the link. So thanks for
Okay,
taking
you'll
the
have
call.
Yes.
Thanks for being on, Al. Go ahead and introduce who you are and what you do.
I'm Kate Hollowich. I'm the Chief Marketing Officer for a private equity firm. We have 5 to 8 portfolio companies usually at any one time. I'm also an author and a marketing professor and a keynote speaker, a TEDx speaker. What else do I do? There's
That's not
probably a million
enough.
other things I do, but yeah. So I like to think I have 1 full-time job and 3 part-time jobs.
Your day job, so to speak, is on the VC side. Would that be a fair statement?
Private equity.
Private equity. Okay.
Yep.
Do you invest in VCs? I mean, do you invest in startups, not VCs, or do you?
No,
Okay.
no, we buy and build. So we only actively pursue opportunities where we can be the full owner.
Typically, private equity is the way I understand it. Typically, it's for larger, more established companies. Correct?
Could be. I mean, we also sort of like that little niche of less than 50 million in revenue, where the owners want the business to continue and thrive into the future, and they either don't have the resources, whether that's strategy or knowledge or money or whatever the situation might be, to get it to the next level of growth. And they typically don't have a succession plan in place, meaning there's not a family member or an employee or somebody like that that wants to buy the business and take it over. So we have a really defined target of what we look for.
Do you have a vertical focus, a geographic focus, or anything like that?
If you looked at our portfolio now, you would say that we're always open to things that don't fit in the areas that we play in now. We are the largest dealer and distributor of weighing and measuring devices in the Midwest. So we have a vertical in the weighing and measuring industry. We have ag feed, so we have a vertical in that realm. We have wholesale gasoline, so we have a vertical there. We own a manufacturing company that makes stringed instrument products out of alternative materials. So that's another vertical, and we have a restaurant chain. So those are existing verticals, but we will look outside of that as well.
In terms of, so thank you for that. In terms, you mentioned you're you didn't say motivational speaker, or did you?
Yes, I did.
Okay. So maybe in terms of people listening to you, what's the area of interest that you have speaking on?
Well, right at the moment, I spend a lot of time telling people about all the horrible things I did in my youth at work as I was trying to navigate office politics. So my TED Talk is called Confessions of a Corporate Cobra. And I tell one version of the story. And then my latest book that I just launched is Mastering the Game of Office Politics. So I talk about that a lot. I talk about how to navigate those tricky waters and how when we're not navigating it well, we devolve into our more base self and do things that ultimately end up self-sabotaging versus what you think it may be getting you.
You mentioned TED Talks. So if someone wanted to watch one of your previous TED Talks, there are numerous TEDs is the way I understand it. What TED did you speak at?
It was TEDx Myrtle Beach, but I
Okay.
have a very unique name. And so if you Google my name, it comes up. I'm the only one in the world. with
Why
that.
don't you go ahead and spell that?
My first name is Kate with a C,
That's the-
C-A-T-E.
That's the easy part.
That's the easy part. My last name is Hollowitz, Hollowitz, as in Sam, C-H.
Okay.
So if somebody puts that into YouTube, my TEDx talk comes right up.
Okay. There aren't that many
No,
people with that name. I have an unusual
No.
name. And my name is spelled very differently. So
it is. Yeah.
there's
You've
only one.
Jeffrey without the second E.
You get it. And there's a story behind that, but I won't. I'll call you on Al and tell you the story. There's a funny story behind
Okay.
that. I think it's funny anyway. Dennis, Kate, any thoughts, questions?
Kate, so we
We've
have
we've got about 3 minutes left.
We have a guest expert, everything that revolves around the AI, apps, development, software. Do you have any questions for Lena that's sitting here in the studio with
She's
us?
also a female founder. Maybe that's an area.
And also a TEDx speaker.
Oh, I did not know that. Okay, we'll come back to that.
That's exciting. No, you kind of caught me off guard with this being a podcast, so I am not at all prepared to ask any questions about that subject at the moment.
No, that's okay. So if somebody was looking to navigate the corporate, ladder and climb up, what would be your main kind of advice for somebody to that's not sure about how to deal with the corporate world?
Maybe from a female perspective.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's a double-edged sword.
We've only got 3 minutes.
Yes, I know. Oh gosh, I could talk forever about that. My best piece of advice is to pause. Don't react. Don't do the thing that instinctively comes to mind in any situation, which is, something comes at us and we want to react to it. My best advice is don't do that. Take a step back and think and use any other resources that you have available to you, whether that's my book or a mentor or anybody else, and think through what that initial reaction of yours was, because it's probably not the right thing to do in that moment.
Well, I'm going to extrapolate that and make it non-sexist. I think that's great advice because I think a lot of people, including myself, speak before they think.
Yes.
At least that's what my wife tells me. So that's great advice in general. Just think before you speak. That's
yes,
really
yes. And I meant that to be gender neutral
okay.
advice. Both sides of the table need to behave that way a little more. Myself included. I'm a very direct, just do it kind of person. And I am the first one to talk, to say, I need to step back and think a little bit.
I'm going to generalize, and I think men tend to think before they speak. I think women tend to think first. That's a generalization. I don't know if you agree with that, but
It depends. I think I'm definitely not that way. I definitely react before thinking.
we've got about a minute left. You mentioned your book, Kate. Why don't you, is it available on Amazon?
It should be by now, yes. I'll be honest, I have not checked this morning to see if it's up yet, but it should be.
And what's the name again?
It's called Mastering the Game of Office Politics.
So breaking news, be available on Amazon as we speak.
Yes.
So sorry if we caught you a little off guard. Thank you
It's okay.
for taking the call. You're available on Owwll, obviously. I don't know if you have specific office hours or you generally go live, but should anyone want to follow up with you, they can on Owwll. Do you have specific office hours?
I don't. Nope. I just go live whenever I have free time.
Okay. And your name is spelled the same way on Owwll as it is everywhere else, correct?
Correct. Yep.
Okay. Any parting thoughts? You got about 10 seconds.
No, well, thanks for having me. This was exciting. I like being thrown a curveball in the new year.
There you go. Good luck and stay warm.
Yes, you too. Nice.
Awesome. That was a great call.
So that is kind of a new feature for Tech Tuesdays, calling out to someone. So that worked well, I think, overall. So thank you, Kate, if you're still listening. But you mentioned TEDx.
Yeah.
What TED have you been on? Is the talk out there on YouTube? And what TED?
What was your topic?
Yes, so I spoke in Buffalo, and my topic was about finding your way of leadership. So I'm an introvert, and I mean, over the years I got better. So people don't believe me, I'm an introvert now, but I am. And I was talking about finding my leadership style as an introvert, because when we look at the leaders, we always think about the people that, like, the most, the loudest, the most exciting person in the room, right? So, and I never thought of me being a leader until I started the chapter of Girl Develop It in Buffalo, and I discovered my own leadership style. So I share the story how introverts can also make great
good one.
leaders. So yeah, if you look up Lena Levine TED Talk,
Mhm.
TEDx, you'll find me.
It was TEDx Buffalo.
TEDx Buffalo, yeah.
Okay.
Okay. And going back to the conversation about, South Florida, a lot of people are moving in. Specifically, I'm noticing in the tech community where they're developers, founders, they're just looking for opportunity. You being here for almost 3 years or over 3 years, what would you recommend for somebody to kind of kick the ground running? What organizations they should join aside from Tech Hub?
hmm
But what other networking events, communities, resources? If somebody just landed in Miami, for example, what they can start with to kind of meet people like-minded in the community?
Yeah. So South Florida is, I would say, it has a lot of options to offer, right? So it's also depending where you are geographically, you might have access to more variety of options that in terms of the tech events. If you're flexible, right, that's great. If you can travel from south of Miami to like the West Palm for different tech events. I would say if you're new in town and you're looking to meet people, go and check out all the different events that are out there. So where to find those events? Luma has a lot of like the tech events calendar. Refresh Miami website, so it's refreshmiami.com. They have a whole calendar of tech events where you can find it. So obviously, South Florida Tech Hub, you have your own event calendar. Let's see what else. Monotech in Miami also, they host a lot of startup focused events. So, and then when I 3 years ago when I came down to Miami, there was just a few events, and I think just like last year, the
There's
number of
something
events.
every day.
I don't know. I see new events. I get new invitations all the time. So it's just like the momentum has been, like that hockey stick growth. Like the events are just like growing exponentially, and the amount of people that attend in events, like I see, like in hundreds. So it's really great time to if you're looking to come down to Miami or South Florida, discover what you like, what events you like, and find stick to to the topics that you prefer. Again, there are events in all types of industries like AI, women entrepreneurship focused, general networking events for the startups, like VC focused events. So it's find what resonates, what type of connections you're looking to make, and yeah.
Are you organizing any events yourself, similar to how you did in Buffalo?
Not at the moment. Not at the moment. Yeah.
But you're planning in the future, possibly, or too busy?
So it's always it's always in the back of my mind, but I just don't have time. So I need to be very careful where I'm spending my time and energy. So that's in my intention for 2025 to be more mindful and just. I was looking at my goals that I set for myself for 2024, and some of them were, I was like, what I was thinking, and it's like things like I was looking at my goals. I'm like, I'm gonna go to the gym every day.
Where?
Go to the what?
Go to gym every day.
Oh,
I
gym.
was like, what am I thinking? So this year I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go work out like a couple times a week. Let's keep it, reasonable. So this is my 2025. Make sure that I'm not overextending myself, and make sure that I set realistic goals. So
Yes. Going to the gym is an important goal for everybody, and I don't want to go back to my goals and be upset when it comes to health. But 2025, there's always improvement in health, and mental health, I think,
Yes.
is important. With you having your remote hybrid team, what do you kind of advise or mentor your employees and team members, partners, how to stay mentally sane, especially if they're coding and they're always in front of their computer? Do you have like certain breaks you tell them to take, like mental health wise?
So the system that we've been using for the last, I don't know, maybe like 5 years, during every daily stand-up check-in call, we have this system where we ask how's everybody doing, and it's color coded, right? So if you're green, everything's perfect, life is good, work is good, you're happy. If you're yellow, that means something is bothering you. If you're red, everything's on fire, you're super stressed out, you're feeling burned out. So we just go across the virtual room, and everybody share how they feel, like green, yellow, red.
What is the system called? Is it an app?
It's just we just
okay.
share
Just verbally.
verbally. So sometimes some team members, if they like feeling stressed out, they might put like a red status on their like a Slack the account, so people can see, hey, this person stressed out today, they're dealing with something. Don't
talk to them.
or don't push them, let them just give them space, right? So, and especially with the virtual world we live in, I would say over communicating and having transparency is extremely important. So that system has been working well for us on a daily basis, and then having like the monthly, quarterly check-in with team members to just see how's everything going. That's like on the manager side, like leader side, that's also important.
Lena, you sound like an amazing boss.
Oh, thank you. My team loves me, so I mean, I guess I'm doing something right.
Speaking of that, one of the other areas that Tech Hub focuses on is helping people find new roles. By any chance, are you looking to hire?
Well, we just brought on board a couple people, so I think we're gonna be all set for now. But yes, definitely, depending how the 2025 goes. So yeah, I'd love to.
Okay,
More people.
So reach out to if you're in college, soon to graduate, or in career transition. That's another reason to potentially reach out to Lena. Well, I think we've come to that time in the show that I don't like. You've been an amazing expert of the day. Thanks again for coming.
Thank you.
Why don't we go what I call around the horn? I'll let Denis go first, and then I'll let you go, and then I'll wrap up. Anything you want to mention that we haven't talked about? One thing you should mention, and I alluded to this, since South Florida Tech Hub does have a focus in healthcare, health tech, med tech. Your other company, you might want to talk a little about that. Mention that. Anything we haven't talked about? Anything coming up, etc. Denis, it's yours.
Yeah, thanks, Jeffrey. We also run a healthcare digital marketing agency, which scales healthcare companies like home care agencies, med spas, and dental offices. Plastic surgeons, things along those lines in that industry. What's exciting about this year is we're launching our HIPAA compliant CRM system for automating a lot of the processes and back-end operations when it comes to AI. You mentioned the AI agent. We're actually launching the AI agent, and we're now testing it for our own company, where a person can dial in a number and the AI person picks up. We can customize the male, female voice, the accent, kind of ethnicity. So it sounds almost like a human being, but with AI training, we can train the AI bot to ask specific questions. If it's you want to close a meeting or schedule a meeting or just get their information for a follow-up, we're training this AI technology. But more importantly, with the HIPAA compliant, as you know, it has to be
kind of
really
important,
secure and encrypted. So clients in the healthcare space, whether they're MDs or doctors or chiropractor offices, we're customizing a lot of the back-end automation workflows, where all the data that's collected, it goes into a bucket where it's completely like off the premise, so it's secured and compliant. But I think we're going to be rolling out more updates, so follow me on LinkedIn if you're interested about our software. It's called pipelineamp.com. And I'm also very thankful for Lena to be here and sharing her knowledge and your experience. If you were to have one more plug for your business, can you give us the name of the company and URL so people can get in touch with you, as well as how they can connect with you?
Yeah, the name of the company is Forcoda. It's spelled Forcoda.com. So yes, reach out to me on LinkedIn, through the website, Owwll. And if you building or thinking about building and launching SaaS product, mobile app, website. So happy to take you through the process and make sure that you're not wasting your money and not stuck in the rebuild cycle, which also happens a lot to the founders when they launch. So, yeah.
And I hope we get to see you at the Tech Hub Pulse, our
Yes.
annual convention, and also join all of our events that we're hosting. That
I'll be
Jeffrey
there.
mentioned.
I'll be
The
there,
golfing, the
especially
tennis,
golf. Yes.
the
All right.
pickleball, whatever we
To
have.
pickleball to come. So
Yeah.
Dennis, you did not mention, or if you did, I didn't hear you, the digital marketing agency for healthcare. What's the name of the company?
Oh, the company is curisdigital.com.
And how do you spell that?
CURIS digital.com.
Okay.
Thanks, Jeffrey, for the reminder.
You're welcome. No problem. So, first show of 2025. Lena's been amazing. I can say that. Dennis, you've been amazing too. So thank you, Dennis. Thank you, Lena. Thank you, Steph.
Thanks, Lena.
One day we'll get Steph on camera. Thank you, Jason. Thank you, Al. I think it's been amazing.
See you guys next week. Same time, same channel.
I'm not going to run through all the events, but real quick, Tech Hub in December. We've got a golf event, a tennis event, and a soccer event. So all you sports nuts, take a look. Thank you very much for watching live or the replay. Have a great day, and stay tuned for a future episode of the Emergency Broadcast System.
See you guys next week.
We're done.
See you.